psychoanalytic perspective of oneself. The profile of the speaker, Dr. P.T. Salindran, MBA, PhD, is an associate professor in Human Resource Management at GKD Academy for Managerial Excellence, Patakal Mandapam, Coimbatore. Basically a clinical psychologist, started his career at Department of Psychological Medicine, Powai Medical Center and the Hospital, Coimbatore. He is also involved in counseling cancer patients, conducting quit smoking programs for service organization and counseling children at orphanages. He also conducts training programs in anxiety management, creativity, career development, stress management, goal setting, assertive training, personality development, and marital relationship and parenting. He is a first rank holder in UG and gold medalist in PG at Bardhiya University. He has vast experience in research and has guided a number of PhD scholars. He has presented and published several articles at national and international levels. He also conducts SPSS training programs. He has teaching experience of more than 50 years and his main areas of interest are organizational behavior, organizational development, human resource management, interpersonal relationship, consumer behavior, research methodology, statistics, and marketing. So now the dice is yours for your penetrating speech on psychoanalytic perspective of oneself.
So once again I'll introduce myself. So good evening all here. Good evening. So once again I introduce myself. I'm Dr. Salindran. So basically I'm a clinical psychologist. I was working for this Biomedical Center for more than 12 years. Then after that I had my MBA. Then I started working as an associate professor at the Academy for Managerial Excellence. So why I have taken this particular topic that is on psychoanalytic perspective. What happened is, when I was working for Biomedical Center, I happened to see a case. The girl, it was a girl. She was a medical student, and her problem is she cannot have an eye contact with males. She cannot look at the males. Whereas supposing she is able to talk with a female, she doesn't have any problem, and she was able to converse well with them. At the same time, supposing if she is talking to a man or a male, so probably she start winking her eyes. And she has already visited many neurologists and other doctors, and they found that there is no neurological deficit, but still then this girl had this particular problem. And later on, this girl was referred to us, and we had just a small investigation, and we found that something is wrong with the girl. So that is, it should be more psychological. So what we did is we just had a small interview with the girl, but she was not able to tell what's the reason for this particular behavior. Then later on, we went for a psychoanalysis or hypnosis. Then later on, we found that when she was about 3 or 4 years old, she was being molested by her maternal uncle. And this particular thought, she is not aware of it, but still then that thought has been in her unconscious. When she attained, when she came, she was about 22 years old, and this problem, what she had at the age of 3 or 4, it started reflecting at the age of 20. So since this, what happened is, she had a problem with the maternal uncle. The maternal uncle molested her, but this particular thought has been repressed in her unconscious, and it started coming out during her adult stage. So after the psychoanalysis and other therapy, she was able to have a normal life. So here, what I want to say that is, basically our personality is, it's a concept given by Sigmund Freud. So this Sigmund Freud, so he is the father of psychology, and basically he is a medical doctor. Then after that he was specialized in neurology, and he was working with another neurologist, Dr. Brunner. And somehow he started having a fascination towards this hysterical conversion cases. And later on, he became the psychoanalyst. So in psychoanalytic theory, basically you can find that he talks about two states. So he says that suppose if you take any individual, we have two ego states with us. One he calls it as a eros, the other one he calls it as a thanatos. For example, it is in the other way I can say that it is love and aggression. So supposing if an individual is very kind, at the same time easygoing, and it is doing something good for the society, or supposing it is involving in a constructive activity, we can say that that particular individual is being dominated by the eros. At the same time, supposing if an individual is involving in some aggressive behavior, or is trying to spoil someone, or supposing if a person is involving in some destructive activity, it means that the person's thanatos is dominating him. So basically, this is a basic instinct. He talks about the instinct. So here, the personality of an individual is based on the domination of which ego states. So supposing if I am being considered here, both this ego states or both this instincts, it is there within the individual. It changes between the time to time. So supposing if I am very kind, I can say that it's been dominated by the eros. And supposing if I am very aggressive, or supposing if I have some suicidal ideation, it means that I have been dominated by my thanatos. So there is a what's called a conflict between these two. So we have to see. So what we have to do is we have to be aware of which state is being dominating us. So we can shape our personality according to it. And Sigmund Freud, he also talks about this consciousness. So he says that, for example here, suppose if you take the earlier concept of psychology, basically the psychology was being derived earlier as mind. So Sigmund Freud also taken as that particular concept. So he says that, suppose if you take your mind, so he was talking more about the mind. And in this mind, he says that there are three levels of consciousness. One is the conscious, the other one is the preconscious, the other one is the unconscious. So these are the three levels of consciousness. So conscious is, at the present time, what the individual is aware of. For example, supposing if I take an individual and if I ask him what he had for the morning breakfast or for the afternoon, the individual is able to tell him. It means that this particular concept is in his consciousness. Or the person is able to feel the breeze of the fan, or if he is able to feel the chillness of this air conditioner. So it means that the person is aware of it. And Sigmund Freud says that it is just a small bit. For example, suppose if you take an iceberg, it's small, it is just the tip of an iceberg. At the same time, there are certain feelings or emotion or certain urges, it is there in the unconscious, but still there. Supposing if you are able to, if you want to reflect it or if you want to bring it to the surface, you are able to bring it, that we call it as a preconscious. For example, at present, at this particular moment, I am not aware of my father's name. Supposing if a person is asking me what's your father's name, I am able to bring it. It is there in my unconscious, I am able to bring it up. So this we call it as a preconscious. So preconscious is, it is neither in the conscious nor in the unconscious. It's there somewhere in the middle. Whereas,
But in the unconscious mind
which one, sir?
the unconscious.
So it's an unconscious.
Or subconscious.
So this concept is totally different from what we call it as a conscious and unconscious. So he says that suppose if you take the mind can be divided into three: conscious, and preconscious, and unconscious. I'll talk about this unconscious. For example, supposing if I ask a particular individual, so on December 22nd, as of the morning around 10:30, 1995 or 92, something happened in his life. The person is not able to recollect it. But what Sigmund Freud says that from our childhood till date, whatever happened in our life, everything is being pushed in the unconscious. Either it is a good or bad or whatever it is being pushed in the unconscious. So Sigmund Freud, what he did is, for example, supposing if an individual is having certain, for example, I told you the case, I gave the example of a case, the girl was involving a certain particular behavior, she was not aware what information has been repressed in the unconscious. So the the information or the urges or there is something has happened in life, that traumatic incident, it is being repressed in the unconscious. So what we did is, we tried to bring that to the surface and we made the individual to be aware of it, and probably she was able to get relief from the problem. So unconscious is, there are certain, it's almost like a storehouse. So where all good and bad, everything is being pushed in the unconscious, and probably this will create a problem. So here, Sigmund Freud was very particular about what is the information or the urges or desires, whatever it is being stored in the unconscious. So he was using certain techniques for it. For example, pre-association or sleeps or dream analysis. Likewise, he was using certain, or even the Rorschach block test or the DAT cards or something like that. So all these cards, all these methods he was using for identifying the information or the urges or the desire which is being stored in the unconscious. So this is an important concept. So here, once a person is involving or if he's showing a behavior which is what's called it's very abnormal, or if it is more neurotic or something like that, so probably there should be some problem that has occurred in his life. So we have to bring it out. And Sigmund Freud, he also talks about, some example, here in the unconscious, there are certain things. So we have to be aware what is the thing. So here, he calls them as the ego and the super ego. So these are the three things. For example, here he says that, supposing if you take any individual, even mine or yourself or anyone, there are three ego systems within an individual. At birth, probably we are born with the ego. So this id, it is basically the desire, and this desire, it is for something. For example, for example, supposing a person is prospering in his life, or a person is involving in some childish behavior. So everything is because of the id. The id works on the pleasure principle. So supposing if an individual is getting some pleasure by what's called by having a funny talk with an individual or something like that, it is the id. So id is the reality. So it's a pleasure seeker. For example, if I'm feeling hungry, it means that my id is dominating. So supposing if I want to play with my child, it means that my id is dominating with me. So here the id is present at the birth. So here when you take a small child, the child will have only this id and it doesn't have the ego or the super ego. When the child passes to a particular age, probably the other system it develops. It is the ego. So if the ego works on the reality principle. For example, that is having a certain desire, that desire has to be fulfilled. So supposing if an individual has to be fulfill that particular desire, it has to see that whether in reality it is possible or not. So supposing if it is possible, it will clear it, or it will make it to fulfill it. So this ego, actually its function is executing. So whatever desire or something like that, if you want to execute, the ego has to fulfill it. The other one, we call it as a super ego. This super ego, it is based on a moral and the ethical balance. For example, whatever information we have learned from our teachers, from our parents, or whoever it is, all this information is being, that we call it as a super ego. So the moral, or we can say that is a conscience. So here, supposing if you take an individual, these three ego systems, that is the id, ego and the super ego, it start interacting to each other. So based on this interaction, it will be reflecting a particular behavior. So that behavior we also call it as a personality. For example, the id is having a desire. The desire has to be fulfilled by the ego, but at the same time there is a pressure from the super ego not to do it. Then we will have a different type of behavior. At the same time, there are certain behavior which the id will or the ego will fulfill, though it is not in reality, it tries to fulfill it. This will lead to certain anxieties. For example, when you talk about anxiety, there are different types of anxieties. So one is generally we call it as a neurotic. The other one we call it as a reality anxiety. The other one we call it as a moral anxiety. All this anxiety, it is because of the interaction between the three ego systems. Example, the neurotic is, the id is having a certain desire, but in reality it is not possible. It is not possible. The ego doesn't want to execute that. It is having certain urges or desire which the ego doesn't want to fulfill it. But due to the extensive pressure of the ego has to fulfill it. So probably that person might be having a guilt, neurotic anxiety. The second one is realistic anxiety, reality anxiety. Reality anxiety, so for example, for this neurotic anxiety is, for example, supposing if a person is not a student, is not prepared for a seminar, but still there, the teacher or the individual wants to present it, it's a neurotic anxiety. He will be having certain problem. So that we call it as a neurotic. The other one we call it as a realistic anxiety or reality anxiety. The reality anxiety is the ego doesn't want to fulfill certain desire which in reality it is not possible. For example, there is a dog. I know that this particular dog will bite, but still if I have a fear towards that particular dog, that is a reality anxiety. So I have a fear towards a dog, but my ego says that why not you go? But still then when I move towards it, I have some anxiety. That we call it as a reality anxiety. So here once again, when I talk about this anxiety, anxiety is not a fear as such. It is an irrational fear. So I'll just explain what's the difference between a fear and an anxiety. For example, supposing if I happen to see a snake here, and just by seeing the snake, if I'm getting a fear, it is a fear. So here, there is some external stimulus which is provoking fear on my side, that we call it as a fearless. At the same time, supposing if there is no snake, if I have a thought that supposing if a snake comes, what happens for me? This we call it as an anxiety. It is an irrational. There is no external stimulus, but still then the person might be having a fear or anxiety. So this we call it as an anxiety. And the next one is moral anxiety. So the moral anxiety is that it is having certain desire or certain urges or certain wishes or certain motives which the ego wants to fulfill it. But at the same time, there is a pressure from the super ego not to do it because of the ethical and the moral values. But still then, what's happening is the ego doesn't adhere to the words of the super ego, but it tries to fulfill it. Then we will have this moral anxiety. So here, all these anxieties are happening to an individual because of the, we can say that a conflict between these three ego systems. So that's what. So based on that, we have a different type of personality. And the other one is here. Sigmund Freud also talks about 5 stages of development. It is slightly interesting here. So here he says that the personality of a psycho. Earlier I said that each and every behavior of an individual, according to Sigmund Freud, is those concepts or urges or wishes or motive, whatever it is, which has been stored in the unconscious. So because of these feelings, probably it will be reflected in your behavior. So here he says that suppose if you take any individual from birth, an individual or an infant is very particular about biological pleasures. So the individual needs certain pleasure, and this pleasure he calls as a libido. This libido, it is a sexual energy according to Sigmund Freud. So he says that supposing if an individual wants to do something, there should be some energy. That energy is a sexual energy, that which he calls as a libido. And he says that people might be longing for this sexual desire, sexual pleasures, and people will be getting these pleasures in different zones of the body during their ages of development. So supposing if an individual is getting excessive pleasure, or supposing if an individual is not getting the pleasure, probably it will be reflected in their behavior during their adult life. Okay, so once again I tell you, so here Sigmund Freud says that there are some errors zones in our body, or there are biological parts in our body which need certain pleasure. So supposing if an individual is getting adequate pleasure, so probably there is nothing for the individual. Supposing if a person is being neglected by this pleasure, or supposing if an individual is getting excessive pleasure, probably there will be some fixation, and because of this fixation, they will have some personality problems, or their personality is being framed or shaped in such and such manner. So first one, we will talk about this oral stage. So this is happening for a child from birth to 1 year. So this is the stage where a child get pleasure, a child or infant get a pleasure by sucking or biting the mother's breast. So he says that during this period, the error zone of an individual is the mouth. So supposing if a mother is not weaning the child properly, or if a mother is feeding or weaning a child excessively, that will be reflected, that will be some fixation, and that will be reflected in their personality. For example, we'll see a mother. For example, we might have a thought that whether there will be a mother who may not be weaning a child. So there are certain mothers. For example, just imagine that there is a mother, she is getting an illegitimate child. So probably you can find that the mother may be having a rejection, or there may be a hatredness towards the child, and probably the child may not be weaned. Or supposing you are, for example, due to some other reason, for example, if it is a triplet child or a twins, so probably the child may not be getting the adequate pleasure with the child. So here, all this concept, what Sigmund Freud has given, it is based on his clinical experience and by self-observation. So there are certain things which has happened in his life, and based on these things, he has given this particular theory. So here, in the early stage, as I said earlier, so this is the stage where the child will be getting more pleasure through the mouth. So this mouth is the error zone, or the zone which the child is trying to get a pleasure. So supposing if the mother is not weaning the child, so what will happen is, the child will be showing the same behavior during the adult life. So he says that, Sigmund Freud says that, so during the adult life, the child will be oriented towards the mouth, and it tries to get more pleasure through the mouth. So he says that that's the reason why people are smoking. So there are certain people who are excessive alcoholic, or a person who is alcoholic, or a person who is involved in more excessive talk, or a person who is taking a profession like a lawyer or a teacher or something. So all this, it's happening because the child is being neglected by their mother, or when the child is being not weaned by their mother properly. And the next, so here, at the same time, so here, these are some of the personality which you can find with these people who have been overweaned by or underweaned by their mother. At the same time, there are certain mothers, even if the child doesn't want it, or the child doesn't feel hungry, but there are mothers, they start overweaning the child. So this overweaning the child will also lead to some fixation. For example, this will lead a person to dependency. For example, there are certain people who depend on others. Or there are certain people, or for example, they cannot take a decision in their life. For example, they have to consult other people. So this dependency will develop when a child is being overwhelmed by their mother. So that also we have to see to it. So this is all this concept are being given by Sigmund Freud. And the next stage we call it as a anal stage. So here I told you that in the first stage the child is getting more pleasure through the mouth. And during the second stage it is from 2 to 3 years. This is the stage where the child is being put for a toilet training. So here, there are some prohibitory measures which is being followed by their parents. For example, the parents may say that you have to pass on the feces here, or something like that. This is the time you have to pass it on. So they have more restriction for the child. So when the mother or the parents, or the caregivers, supposing if they are imposing more restriction for the child, that also will lead to certain fixation. So there are two fixations here. One fixation, we call it as a holding on. The other fixation, we call it as a, that is letting off. So holding on pieces is, there are certain mother, what they do is, they give 100% permission for the child to pass on their pieces. So here, this is the time when the child goes for experimentation with their anus. Here, Sigmund Freud says that the child is getting more pleasure through the anus by expelling their feces. So supposing if the parents are giving more freedom for the child to expel their feces, and if they are getting more pleasure because of that, this will lead to a fixation. This we call it as a letting off fixation. At the same time, there are certain mother, they have excessive prohibitory measures, or they start punishing the child for small mistake which the child does it. For example, it goes for experimentation. So supposing if the child makes certain mistake, for example, if it's soiling the dress or if it passes on the pieces somewhere which they should not do it, so they'll be getting this excessive punishment. So supposing if the child is given excessive punishment, what the child will do is they try to hold on their pieces, and by holding on the pieces they are getting a pleasure. So unless letting on the pieces, the child is getting a pleasure through the anus, or holding on the pieces, the child is getting a pleasure. So we see what will be the personality of an individual when the child is holding on the pieces. So when the child is holding on the pieces because of the punishment which is likely to get it, if the child is holding on the pieces, probably you can find these children, they will be more perfectionist. That is, they are more concerned about the rules and regulation. They will be more obsessive. So they want everything to be very perfect, or everything should be in the particular place, etc. So they are over perfectionist. At the same time, supposing if the child is given more freedom for passing on the pieces, or if the child is getting more pleasure through the anus, this child will more or less will be like a messy. So that is they will least give importance for their dressing or something like that, or they will be in rags. Okay, so here, once again, there is a problem here. So here, he says that our personality is also being determined by the anal stage. So this anal stage is, once again, whether the pressure is high or low. And the third stage, it is the stage, it is more interesting, it's more interesting. So this is the stage of identification. So here, suppose if you take a male child, the male child will exhibit only their father's behavior or a male behavior, and you can find a female will be exhibiting a female behavior. Suppose if you take a male, the male child, most of the time the male child is spending his time or her time with their mother. So suppose if you take a male, first we take the male child. The male child is spending more time with their mother, and but still then you can find that the child, for example, most of our learning is by imitation. We go for an observation. I observe my father's behavior, mother behavior, and probably it's reflected in my personality. So likewise, supposing you take a child of 3 to 5 years, the child is spending most of the time with their mother. But still then you can find that during the adult life, the child is showing more male behavior. The reason for that, he gives a reason for that. He says that if you take a male child during the age of 6 to 7 years, or 4 to 7 years, the male child will have a sexual attraction towards their mother. So there is a huge controversy for Sigmund Freud's theory here. But he says that supposing you take a child of 3 to 4 and above, up to 6 or 7 years, the child will have an attraction towards their sexual attraction towards their mother. And this child also knows that my mother is already possessing my father. So basically, the child might have a feeling that his father is a villain. He's a villain. So he knows that I have a sexual attraction towards my mother. At the same time, there's another person who is being with my mother, and basically is a villain. He is having a hatred towards his father. So what he does is, to win the heart of his mother, he starts exhibiting the role of his father. So the child feels that my mother is fascinated by my father's behavior. Supposing if I show that particular behavior, surely I'll have or my mother will start loving me. So that's the reason a male, according to Sigmund Freud, he says that a male child is exhibiting a male's behavior. So for this, when a male child is having a sexual attraction towards his mother, he calls it as an Oedipus complex. So this Oedipus complex, it is based on a Greek mythological story where Oedipus, a boy, he killed his father and he married his mother. So this, once again, it is a Greek mythological story, and actually the story is a different story, but Sigmund Freud, he has taken the essence and he has incorporated in his theory. So this we call it as a Oedipus complex. And suppose if you take a female, the female once again, when she compares herself with the father or brother, she has a feeling that she is anatomically she is inferior. Something is lacking with her. And she feels that it is because of her mother. And she starts having a hatredness towards her mother. At the same time, she also has an attraction towards her father. And she feels that my father is already possessing my mother. So what she does is, she starts exhibiting the behavior of his mother so that she can be part of her father. So this we call it as an electoral complex. So electoral complex, once again, it is based on a Greek mythological story where Electra, a girl, she induced her brother to kill her mother and she married her father. So once again, it is a Greek mythological story. So here, probably, so here what is happening is, all these female psychologists, they started having a criticism towards this Sigmund Freud theory. So probably you can find that Sigmund Freud says that there are certain males, probably they have long hairs, or probably they try to put dress like a female and go. It is because the person has a problem in a phallic stage. Or probably we might be knowing about the gender identity disorder. So this gender identity disorder is actually happening if there is a problem in the phallic stage. For example, if a boy or a girl, if he doesn't have an attraction towards his mother, so probably he will be imitating or identifying the roles of his mother. And probably you can find that this individual will have a problem like transsexualism. Or sometimes we call it as an identity disorder. For example, there are certain males, they have a feeling that it's a transsexualism. There are certain males, they have a feeling that they are a male, physically they are a male, but they have a feeling that they are a female residing in a male body. So this we call it as a transsexualism. So all this is happening, it is because of the phallic stage. So there are a lot of criticism for this phallic stage, and they say that supposing if a male is behaving like a female or a female is behaving like a male, there is a problem or there is some fixation in the phallic stage. And the next one is the latency stage. So this latency stage, Sigmund Freud didn't give much importance for this latency stage. So he says that during this latency stage, the individual is not aware or is not focusing on what is the pressure through the error zone. He says that the individual will be involving in all behavior so that they can enhance their skill. So that is the latency stage. And the last stage, it is the gentle stage where the individual will become mature and probably they involve in a heterosexual relationship. So these are the 5 stages according to Sigmund Freud, and there are a lot of controversy for this particular thing. And most of the female psychologists, they doesn't agree with Sigmund Freud. Okay, so still now there's a controversy for this. For example, and now Freud and other people still they have a controversy over this Sigmund Freud's theory. And the next one is this one is missing here. So he says that I told you something about the ego and the superego. So here most of the time what we are doing is we are trying to have a psychological shelter. And supposing if an individual is not having a psychological shelter, surely it is going to affect their life. Or we can say that these people or the individual is likely to get some psychological problem. So here Sigmund Freud, he talks about certain defense mechanisms. So these defense mechanisms we are using it, we are following that, unconsciously we are following it to protect our ego. So supposing if we are not following these defense mechanisms, so probably you can find that our ego will be getting affected and a person might be having a guilt. The first one is what he calls as a denial. So denial is one of the important that is a defense mechanism normally what we are following. Example, just imagine that there is a mother, she has got a boy and the boy is mentally retarded. So normally what we do is, we'll do all this analysis of the for example, intelligence test and other thing. And if I tell to this mother that your child is suffering from mental retardation, 90% of the time, the mother will never agree with the words of the doctor or the psychiatrist or the psychologist. They deny the words of this psychologist. The reason, so we might have a feeling that why they are involving it. So supposing if they doesn't show this particular behavior or if they are not using this defense mechanisms, probably you can find that they will get a shock. So here what is happening is, this denial is safeguarding this particular individual. Otherwise, just imagine that I go to the doctor, I have a cough, I go to the doctor, and the doctor does all these investigations. Then later on, he finds that I am having some lung cancer or something like that. So when the doctor tells that I am having cancer, I will never agree with the words of the doctor. I might have the feeling that probably my report is being mixed with some other report. The report what the doctor is giving is not my report, it's a denial. So here, supposing if I am not using this particular defense, probably I have a guilt, or sometimes I will ask the question to myself, I am not a smoker, I am not an alcoholic, but still yet, why should I get it? So this is an important defense mechanism we are following it. So here Sigmund Freud, what he says that is, we have to follow certain defense mechanisms so that we can have a good life. Otherwise, we will have a guilt. And the second one, he talks about this projection. The projection is blaming others. Example, just imagine that it's my examination, I have not prepared for my examination, and my id says that, why not you copy in your examination? My id says that it is a pressure principle. It says that you copy in your examination. My super ego here, he tells that copying is bad, you should not copy. So here the problem is, supposing if I don't copy, if I get a very poor marks, I'll have a guilt. What the ego does is, it fulfills the urge of the aid. At the same time, I start using a defense mechanism. I might say that I am not the only person who is copying in this class, all other people are copying. So there is nothing wrong in it. So once again, I am using this defense mechanism for safeguarding my ego. And basically we are using some other defense mechanism like displacement. Example, supposing I am having a problem with my boss, and if my boss is showing his anger towards me, I cannot show my anger towards him. So what we do is, so that feeling, that the anger which I have, what I do is, I might be changing the person. Example, normally what I do is, I go to my wife and I show my anger towards my wife, and what she does? She will show her anger towards the children. What does children do? There's an innocent dog there, it's not biting it, beating it. And what the dog will do? It starts chasing a cat. What the cat will do? It will start chasing a rat. So this is this we call it as a displacement. So once again, if we are not using this defense mechanism, surely you can find that we have some guilt. And most of the psychological problem, it is occurring because of the guilt. It is because of the guilt. For example, it can be of any type. Some guilt, a person might be having it, it will lead to some psychological problems. And the next one is, it is the projection. So here, the projection is, for example, I told about projection. The next one is a rationalization. So rationalization is justifying our behavior. For example, I go for an interview, so because of my poor performance, I am not able to get it. But still then, normally what I do is, I say that these people, they are in favor of some other people, they are not in favor of me. It is a rationalization. So, otherwise, like you will be having a guilt. The other one is and there are different defense mechanisms. So now what Sigmund Freud says that We have to use this defense mechanisms. Otherwise, the individual will be having certain problems. And recently, I happened to see another case. It is a very interesting case here. On a particular day, when I was about to leave my office, a female lady, she was about 20 or 27 or something like that, along with her grandmother and husband, they came. So this lady, for the past 30 days, 3 months, she was not able to see. Before that, she had a very good vision. For the past 3 months, she was not able to see. And basically, they are from Salem. They have consulted an ophthalmologist there in Salem. They got admitted for 10 or 15 days. And there was no change in her vision. Then once again, they came to another hospital, private here, and they underwent all the investigations, and everything was fine. The retina, everything was fine, and they felt, the doctors, the ophthalmologists, they felt that it should be more neurological. So it should be more neurological, and they consulted a neurologist. And during the time, that is what it was around 4:30 or something like that, the neurologist was in ground. He was about to go for rounds. And he told to this particular patient, why don't you have a psychological help? Then after that you come and meet me. So it was around 4:35 they came. This lady, she was not able to see. And her husband, he started crying. He started saying that whether my wife will be getting a vision, and my grandmother, she also started crying. And I said that we don't know. So what's the reality? What we probably may not be knowing it. Then later on, normally in the counseling, what we do is we make the patient sit outside and we'll just talk with the attendants. So I just had a small conversation with the attendant. And with this attendant, her husband, he said that about a year before, she delivered a male baby, and the baby was healthy, and that is after 6 months, the child had some fever or something like that. The child was taken to a hospital. When the pediatrician was just examining the child collapsed, the child died. So they don't know what's the reason for the death, but the child died. So after the death of the child, that is, the family members, they were in command to a tumor. They started crying, that is mother-in-law, father-in-law, so everyone, they started crying, everyone. But this lady, this mother, she didn't cry. She didn't cry. And she was just pacifying other people, not her family members. And she, not even a single tear rolled from her eyes. She was very stubborn during that time, and all the rituals, everything has happened. Then after 2 months, she lost her eyesight. So once I said, okay, what I did is, so then once again I called this, so I made these people, that is after us to be outside, and once again I called this lady, and I just asked her, what's the problem? She said, I don't know what's the reason for that. Everything is fine, but I lost my vision for the past 3 to 4 months, I'm not able to see anything. And the problem is, even for changing dress, taking food and other things, I have to get assistance from other people. That's the only problem I am facing now. And so that's and she started crying. And I said that something has happened in your life, so what's it? She said that, and I asked her, so if you have, I had a conversation with your husband, and they said that when your child died, you didn't cry. So she said that I was also very upset. But the problem is, I love my mother-in-law, father-in-law, and my grandmother, and other people. Supposing if I start crying, these people, they'll get upset. So I doesn't want to see their face. So because of that, I started repressing the feelings which I have. So this we call it as a repression. So she started repressing her feelings, and then she started crying. She started crying. And what we did is, we made that lady to cry. She cried for 15 to 20 minutes. Then later on, she said, is it possible for me to get a vision? And so what I decided, I just made an experimentation here. I made her to relax herself. Then I started hypnosis. I said that I'll be counting numbers from 9 to 10 to 1. Each time when I say whichever tell the numbers, you are in the state of sleep. So when she was in the trance, I said that just imagine that you are sitting in the theater. You are sitting in a theater, and in front of you can find a black screen. Behind this black screen, there is a white screen. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to just lift the black screen, and you can find there is a white screen. And I said that I'm just pulling it, I'm just pulling it, I'm just pulling it, and she said that yes, I'm able to see a white screen. Everything is white now. Earlier it was very dark, it was black. Now it is white. I felt that 25% of my treatment is working. So once again I said I relaxed herself, and I said that once again I'm going to give you a process, and I said that there is a white screen, and behind the white screen there is a colored screen. And what I'm going to do is I'm just pulling the white screen, and probably you can see the colored screen. And I said that I'm just pulling it, and you are able to see it. So I just give out. And later on, she said that I'm able to see a colored screen. You believe it or not, she was able to get 100% vision. So once again, what I want to say that is, it is an hysterical conversion. So here, what has happened is the death. It is because here, you as a mother, she has to cry. She didn't cry. But that particular feeling is being stored in the unconscious. It is being stored in the unconscious, and it's been reflected in the behavior. So here, though there are certain objections for the psychodynamic theory, but really it works. Okay. So this was a concept which I want to tell to you people. So we'll have 15. Okay, sir. So if you have we'll have a small interaction. If you have any doubt or something like that, you can ask me. So it is a statistical package. It is that is a statistical package for social sciences. It is a statistics. It's a software. So all the analysis, whatever you want, you can do it with this particular package. Yes, sir, please.
Then I will conclude and make the presentation. Then we can continue so that others who like to leave, they can leave and discuss.
Okay.
Says I was smoking. Ego says it's good, it's good. Ego says it's wrong. How do you handle those kind of
it's an hypothetical constraint. So here, whatever Sigmund Freud says, we cannot 100% rely on it. We are just taking the essence. So the heat says that you smoke. The super ego says that ethically it's not right. But the ego is neutral. In fact, so here what is happening is, supposing if the illness, so otherwise the person will be having a guilt. So most of the time, what I want to say that is, we are trying to overcome our guilt. So when you are in a guilt, surely it will lead to some psychological problem. It will lead to some psychological problem. For example, the person might go for depression. So here, I say that supposing if the it says that you have to quit smoking, sorry, you go for smoking, but the id says that yes, in reality it's possible, but your super ego says that not to smoke. So supposing if you are controlling your smoker, it will also lead to certain problems. Suppose if you continue, once again it is also lead to certain problems. So here, on this example, it's a conflict. It will be reflected in your behavior as whether you are a smoker or you are quitting a smoke. It's not a treatment. So in ego, it's not a treatment procedure. It is their way of behavior. Why a person is behaving this manner, not that manner.
Excuse me.
Yes, sir.
What you said about the personality development, this is only one way psychological part of it.
Yes, sir.
But there are the other two things which help in the development of the individual personality.
So there are different theories for it, sir.
And group 3 is more or less is a lost one. There is so much after that the theories have come.
Yeah, there are different theories. Yeah, so there are different theories for it. There are different theories for it. For example, Sullivan, he has given a different theory for it.
Right.
Alfred, he has given a different theories for it. There are different theories for it. So what I want to say that is, this also works in certain cases. That's what I want to say. I don't say that 100%. I don't say that this is the only theory related to personality. There are numerous theories for it. For example, Carl Jung.
Yeah.
So his thought is totally a different one. Sullivan, it is Kiran Horney, different ones. So they have a different views.
So after that, so many philosophers have come.
Yes, sir, that's
added so many things.
yeah. But still, there. Suppose if you take psychiatry or psychology, the base we consider this one, psychoanalytic theory. So we take the base as a psychoanalytic theory. So I don't say that other theories are wrong. So even suppose if you take learning, there are different types of learning. For example, classical conditioning by classical conditioning by Ivan Pavlov, or there's one operant conditioning. Classical conditioning Ivan Pavlov, operant conditioning by Skinner, trial and error mechanics. So there are different theories for it. So each and every theory, for example, when we talk about this observation theory or imitation learning, we have to follow this mantra. What he said is right. So he says that suppose if you see an individual, there is, for example, the stimulus or something is being stored in your memory. Then after that you reproduce it. Then if you are getting a reinforcement, you repeat the same behavior. Otherwise you pretend. So likewise, so even in this theory or other theory, I don't disagree with those theories, sir. But I say that this also works. It is not. Yeah, and it's
I delivery time of mother so due to some occasion. On the child, one in the 5 stages.
So on this, I'm talking about not only the mother, sir. So when I say that, it's the caregivers. So here, what will happen is, supposing if the child is losing a mother, probably the oral stage and a fixation one of chances will be. Surely the child will have a fixation. So surely the child will have a dependence, or probably the child might show some behavior like smoking or alcoholism or something like that. But it is according to Sigmund Freud. 100% to what extent it is true, we are not able to justify that. So it is on his clinical experience.
We had a very wonderful session, very professional, very in-depth experience. Let me give you 3 examples, which one class. So you were talking about the eye-to-eye contact. So we will not have eye-to-eye contact with anyone. For example, Arvind Naidu, the managing director of the schools of Control. He was the chairman and our correspondent at college. I used to meet him. I could never meet his eye. His eye is always rolling. That is my observation. But not with others.
Okay.
Then the second one, you were telling about the prediction. I recently had an experience. I was invited to a function. After waking up in the morning, I perceived one of the important persons will not attend that function. When I reached the campus, I found he was absent. I don't know how it happened. Scriptures and all, we talk about the gross body and the mind, which is in the driver's seat. Sometimes the body may be in the driver's seat, sometimes the mind may be in the driver's seat. If the body is in the driver's seat, you get the help. If the mind is in the driver's seat, you are not. How this happens, how this changes. It's a fantastic analysis. In transaction analysis, they say fundamentally, you are okay, I am okay. If that is your concept, then you don't have any problem. With this remark, I expect
So, sir was talking about this eye contact. Just I want to this one. So basically, what they say that let's talk about the body language here. So basically, what they say that is, if you don't have an eye to eye contact, so probably it is the person is trying to, or the information what the individual is passing on is false. So the researchers, what they say that is, when you speak a lie, there is a tingling sensation all over your body. Example, if a person is scratching the nose or the ear or shoulder, and if they speak, it means that what they speak is not true.
they avoid seeing other.
Yes, and one more thing is, it's not easy for us to speak to a person who's wearing a sunglass or something like that, or a black glass. The reason for that is, we are not, so for example, when I speak, and when I look at his eyes, I can understand whether the person is liking me or the person is disliking me. Or say, so suppose if I talk about this body language, there are different, this one. So even when a person is standing, for example, when I stand and speak like this, there is a different meaning in it. When I stand like this and speak, there is a different meaning in it. So when I stand like this and speak, it means that I'm really interested in this particular individual. I love to talk with him. When I stand like this and speak, though I'm talking to him, my real interest is towards the other person. Or the way you handle your cup, the way you sit, the way you, so for example, normally when we talk with our that is authority figure, so probably we'll have our hand like this. It means that to a certain extent you are able to overcome your anxiety. So each and every behavior, it shows, so it's being reflected from your brain. So by observing this, that's what we do in psychology. So for example, when a patient enters a room, normally what we do is we just observe his behavior. Based on his behavior, to a certain extent, we can say that what will be his problem is. Whether the person is, for example, when a person is depressed, his behavior is different. When a person is anxious, his behavior is different. When a person is in mania, his behavior is different. When a person is in psychotic, his behavior will be different. So what we do is, we just observe the person. Based on that, so we have a small prediction, how it will be. And based on that, we try to make it. So 100% it is, I don't say that, it is 100% will be sure. But still that 90% we can judge an individual by looking at their behavior. Example, sir, even in psychoanalytic theory, so what I said that is, from your birth, what is happening for you, everything is being reflected in your behavior. I told you that. So example, so here we have a chair with an arm. Here we have a chair with an arm. And supposing we have, so this is a chair without an arm. So which you prefer? With an arm or without an arm? With an arm. Why? So we feel that it's more comfortable. So here my question is, from where you learned that sitting in a chair with an arm gives you more comfort? So here, suppose if you sit in this particular chair, you can sit in any direction, this direction or this direction or this direction. But still then, you say that you are feeling more comfortable with the chair with an arm. Why? From where we learned that? So that's what I want to say that is, there are certain things. So Sigmund Freud says that from our birth till now, what has happened in your life, everything has been registered in your unconscious. So based on that, we exhibit our behavior. For example, our likes, dislikes, our hatredness, our aggression, our happiness, love, everything has been reflected based on this. So here my question is, why we prefer a chair with an arm? So you feel that it's more, so here my question is, the person who has designed this particular chair, he should have certain concept in his mind. Based on this concept, that concept, he has designed this chair. So from where you got this particular concept? None of our teachers taught us sitting in a chair with an arm gives you more comfort or more secure feeling. No one taught us. But still that we have a feeling that when you sit in a chair with an arm gives you more comfort or more secure or something like that. From where you learned that?
Childhood conditions by the mother.
That's what. For example, Suppose if you take a child of 2 years or 1.5 years, the safest and the comfortable place for this particular child is the mother's lap. And if the mother is holding the child is feeling more secure. The same experience will be getting in a chair with an arm. When you sit in a chair with an arm, you have a feeling that you are sitting in your mother's lap, and your mother is holding you. So once again, this thought, it has happened at the age of 1.5 years. Now we are 40, 45, but still then we have this particular thought. It's being stored in your unconscious.
Now, one thing in that case, what you told, you can see the behavior of the individual by the way he stands, this and that. Nowadays, if you really look into everything is trainable. And you cannot make out whether this fellow is have you been to any hard criminal?
Yes, sir.
Absolutely, you cannot find out if he has made the murder or something like that. Nothing.
Yeah, even by using a polygraph, you cannot find it.
You cannot find it.
Demonstrating.
For the etiquettes also,
Yes, sir.
there are so beautiful schools are there who train you each and everything. From point to point, if you have to face the interview, what he has to behave, what he has to write, what he has to do. So it has become so simple.
Yes, sir.
You cannot judge a man by the way he is behaving in your presence or in your just life. You are changed. Today is a scientific age. Evolution is so fast. You cannot change what is tomorrow. By the time you are talking, there is another theory has come.
Yes, sure.
That is all theory.
That's all. Yeah. So nowadays the graphologists, what they say that is, just by observing your handwriting, they are able to predict your personality. They say that, they claim that, just by seeing your handwriting, they are able to judge your blood group. To what extent is true, I may not be knowing it. So supposing a person is writing big, if they say that, he is more confident. So probably, supposing you take the doctors, they just scribble. What's the meaning of it?
Now you have said it about writing.
Yes, sir. Handwriting analysis, graphology.
Remember I am telling you, these all those notes they have compared with this thing handwriting. At the time he has used left hand. And he has done everything.
So the graphologist, what they say that is, either you use your left hand or right hand, or even if you have your pen in a mouth and if you write the hand, there won't be any change in the handwriting. The graphologist, they say, so I don't know to what extent it's true, but still then, suppose you probably would have seen that doctors, they scribble. So suppose if they want to write ultrasound or something like that, they just scribble. What's the meaning in it? They are not sure about the spelling of that particular drug. If you are not confident, probably just scribble.
They are not able to read
Yeah.
their own handwriting.
Yeah. So probably the sales representative, they show this is the particular drug for anxiety or something like that, they show it. The doctor may not be knowing the spelling of this particular drug. The setting is with the pharmacy. They have to identify which drug it is. So here as Sir said, some cases we are able to judge by their body language, but there are certain things which we cannot.
So is there any reason why the students get discovered and then brought out? So we see only like the rapists which happened.
So they do it.
So police are.
No, not the police. So he doesn't want to expose himself to the public. That's the reason.
So can we change our behavior by knowing this?
Okay, so one thing is, there are certain behavior, the core personality cannot be changed. The core personality cannot be changed. But there are certain behavior which we can change it. Example, supposing if I feel that I am an introvert, I want to be an extrovert, by taking certain effort, probably I can change it. But the core personality is very difficult for a person to change. The core personality we cannot change it, sir. But for example, if I change my value system, if I change my attitude, probably it will be reflected in my behavior.
Core personality means what you are.
So, for example, there is some example, the core personality, for example, your value systems, you have certain example value system, that value systems cannot be changed. For example, you are a perfectionist. So supposing if I ask you to rob, it is impossible by you, sir. That's it, core personality, which you cannot change it. But there are certain personality, probably you can change it.
But see, we have observed our juniors and all, there were different personalities. Over the age, you can't say he was that like that. How it happened?
So here also once again, the personality might change according to the situation. Example, supposing if I am bachelor, my behavior is totally different, my personality is different. Once I get married, there is a change in my behavior or my personality. If I get a child, there is a change in. So it might change.
Education, experience,
Environments. Some one. So the for example, the intelligence you cannot increase it. So that's what. So the intelligence probably you can never increase it. The creativity you cannot increase it. Innovation you cannot increase. So these are the traits. So these traits you cannot develop it. Example, if a child has been mentally retarded, the child is mentally retarded forever. You cannot make the child to be a normal.
That is okay, but intelligence cannot.
No, we cannot improve intelligence. And one more thing, sir. Suppose
up to what age?
up to 16 years. 16 years. Up to 16 years, there is a development. So here, when you talk about intelligence, your mental age and your chronological age should correspond. So suppose if you take a 10-year-old child, his mental age should be 10 years. But there are some exceptional cases where their mental age might be higher, but supposing if it is a retarded, their mental age is less. Supposing if you take a child of mild mental retardation, for example, his IQ level is about 60 or 65, even at the age of 60 or 70, his IQ will be 60. You cannot increase it. There is no medicine for it at present. So once again, I thank the opportunity for the